me how I multiply fractions. Abdiel?
You have to do 1 times 1 numerator times numerator, and then 2 denominator times denominator.
Awesome. Okay. So on this page, there are 4 that have to be simplified. Okay? Go through and solve all the problems, and then go back and see if you can figure out which 4 need to be simplified. Or do you just want me to tell you? Okay, so this one needs to be simplified. And I think the last 3. Some of them I put on there twice. I have no idea why. So, sorry about that.
Twice doesn't like backwards?
Like, I put them on twice. They weren't even backwards. Look at this. 3/4 times 3/5. 3/4 times 3/5. Maybe it's because I wanted it to all match and have the same number in each row. I don't know. Okay? So go through and solve those, and then we'll talk about the ones that need to be simplified. Maybe Cadence can share with us how she learned to simplify fractions. I don't know.
Huh?
Oh, I like your headband, Jesus. It makes you look kind of... It makes you look kind of tough. No? So what do I write on this one here? 3 9?
3 9.
Okay, we'll talk about simplifying in a minute. What about here?
3 20.
3/20.
9 20.
Good.
4 20.
Are you going faster than I can write? Almost.
9 20.
There it is again.
3 20.
1 whole.
Okay. So you had 12 twelfths. Good. Okay, what about here?
6 12 equals 1/2.
Okay, we're going to talk about simplifying in a minute. So 10 what?
24th.
24ths. And
6
6/40ths. Okay. So now let's go back and let's ask our questions. I'm looking at the anchor chart for simplifying fractions. First question I asked myself, is 3 half of 9?
No.
No. Can I divide by 2?
Yes.
No.
No.
Can I divide by the numerator?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll divide by 3,
1/3.
and the answer is
1/3.
Okay, let's go down and look at 2/3 times 3/4. Is 6 half of 12?
Yes.
So write 1/2. Okay, is 10 half of 24? No. Can I divide by 2?
Yes.
Okay, so let's divide by 2. And I ran out of room. 10 divided by 2.
5.
And 24 divided by
12.
You can't see my 5 very well. Okay, the next one is 6 half of 40.
No.
Can I divide by 2?
Yes.
6 divided by 2?
3.
40 divided by 2?
40.
Okay, so there's a little review of simplifying fractions. So we take our state assessment the Tuesday after that Monday where we have no school. Okay? No. We have an Easter break coming up. All right, your paper is wrong for this slide right here. I've lost my mind. I didn't put my reading glasses on when I made your handout. And I took off the answers on these two because I thought, they don't need the answers on there, then they're not going to have anything to figure out. And I couldn't see that this was a question mark because I didn't have my reading glasses on. We need that there, okay? So underneath this, first of all, let's number these so we'll know which prism we're talking about, okay? So underneath the 4th prism, go ahead and write the answer, and you can just write it like this. Volume equals 120 inches cubed. And then Underneath Prism 3, you could do volume equals 40 inches cubed. Okay, so I'm sorry you can't see it very well. But what I want you to do, I'm going to pull sticks, and here are the ones we know how to do. We know how to do 1, 2, 5, and 6. So we'll say 4 and 3 till the end, and I'll teach you how to do those, okay? But I'm going to pull sticks for how to solve for volume, not area, volume. And we need to write our multiplication sentences, okay? So starting with the first one, Abdiel,
Yeah. Oh,
tell me what to write here.
3 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 2 centimeters
Okay?
equals
And I'm going to do 3 times 4, which is 12 times 2.
11,
So my volume is what, Abdiel?
24
24.
centimeters cubed.
Awesome. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Number 2, Dara, what do I need to write?
4 centimeters times 10 centimeters equals 160.
She says 160. Do you agree? Yes, very good. All right. So number 5 for Emiliano. Do you remember how we did it when they gave us area and they gave us another dimension? Tell me what you think here.
30 feet
Squared times,
6 feet.
good. And you're going to do 3 times 6 and add a 0 to the end? So what's your answer?
3 times 6, 18.
Add a 0? Good. And what's my label? Cubed. Good. Okay. And remember, this is 2 plus 1 equals 3. Okay. So the next one, George V. It's Prism number 6.
12 feet times
Squared, right? Times,
8 feet.
good. You know what 12 times 8 is?
56.
What'd you say? You're close. The 6 part's right.
96.
96. Your label is cubed. Okay, let's go back up and look at number 2. Dara, can you get the door, please? Okay, I'm sorry, number 3. Let's look at number 3. Cheney, we got to finish. We've got to do 3 and 4. Okay, so number 3, here's what it gives us. It gives us the length times the width, we're missing the height, and it gives us volume. Now, whenever you have volume given to you, you need to automatically know that you're doing the opposite of multiplying. Dividing, okay? So we're going to start with volume. We're going to divide, but before we divide, can we do something in our heads?
Yes.
What can we do in our heads?
4
times 5.
20.
So, and actually, boys and girls, that's 2 measurements, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's squared. Okay? And the reason I'm showing you this, so 40 divided by 20 is,
20.
and here's how you get your label. Watch this. 3, 2, 1. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this right here, this missing measurement is 2 feet. All right, let's take a look at 4. Yes. Why did I write feet? Because I've been writing feet?
Probably.
Goodness.
I didn't write inches.
You wrote inches?
No, I didn't.
That's probably because I wrote feet. Thanks, Lexi.
You're welcome. Thanks, Lexi.
All right. So now let's look down here at prism number 4. Okay, I think I'm gonna pull stick here. Josue, where are you? Okay, so they gave me volume, so that means I'm doing the opposite of multiplication, okay? So what do you want me to write? 120 inches cubed.
Divided by,
You got it. 12 inches squared equals
10.
10. 10 inches. So this missing measurement is 10 inches. How you doing on that? Okay? You're going to see quite a few questions that give you volume and they give you the measurements, but you're missing one. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the lesson for today. So now that we have examined these two rectangular prisms and we figured out how to combine the volumes, I want to show you how to write it, okay? It always starts with labeling your prisms. And typically, I'm going to label them on top, but that's not going to work very well this time. So the green one's A and the red one is B. Okay? Then I'm going to write down the volume of A. So the volume of A is 3 by 2 by 2, right? And we're talking centimeter cubes. So go ahead and write your multiplication sentence. And remember, I'm showing you how this is going to look on your problem set tomorrow. And we already know that the volume is 12 cubic centimeters, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Volume of B. And you should be writing this right along with me, okay? This one was 2 by 2 by 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cube, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the volume, do you remember what the volume was?
8. Okay, back.
I just rolled my eyes. Okay, so then to solve this, once we slid those two prisms together, we decided we're not going to multiply because that would be 96 cubes and we don't have 96 cubes there. So we're going to do what? Add. So you will add the two volumes. Make sure you have your labels. And that's all there is to it. Okay? So we're going to solve some more challenging problems than this. This one's pretty simple, isn't it?
Nope.
Okay? And so the next one, let's take a look at it. It's okay with me if you just take a box of Kleenexes and a trash can over there. They're in the cupboard.
Oh.
Okay, imagine another prism identical to this one. So just right beside it. I could even copy and paste it, couldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And if we glued them together to make a bigger prism, how could we find the volume? Turn and talk. So talk to your table group about how you would, and don't talk too loud.
Number 5.
Table 2. So this table right here, what did you discuss?
We just double it.
Double what?
The volume of this.
Double the volume of the first rectangular prism, okay? Now, here's something I want to show you because someone in block 1 started making a mistake when they were talking to their table group. So they said, oh, I'm just going to double this 3, so that'll become a 6. I'm going to double this 2, so that would become a 4. I'm going to double the 7, and that would become a 14.
No.
Now, there's a problem with that. The problem is, when I had my two prisms and I slid them together, there were two things that did not change.
The width.
The width and the
height.
height, okay? So if I were to slide another one right up to this, would my height change?
No.
Would my width change?
No.
length change?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you're going to think in terms of each measurement, only double your length. Okay? All right, so what's the total volume of this?
42.
42. So I'm going to do 3 meters times 2 meters. You can write this down. Times 7 meters equals 42 cubic meters. Now, if I add another one, I am doubling the volume. So what's 42 times 2?
84.
84. But here's what we have to be careful about. We don't double every single measurement. I'm going to double the first one. And this only works if you slide them up against each other and they're identical in size. It doesn't work if one's smaller and you put it up on top. Okay? All right, so is 12 times 7 84?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. This is going to be fun. Okay, this time there are 2 different size boxes. Where should your eyes be? You got a couple of choices. The board or your paper, okay? The little box on top only has measurements on the length and the height. They did not include this measurement for the width. Talk with your table quietly. No, I think I'll pull a stick. Miguel, what do you think that measurement is?
2? No, 3.
Well, this is 3, and you can't go by what it looks like. It looks like it's shorter than 3, doesn't it? You can't go by what it looks like. Is there anywhere on this figure where the width is listed?
Right there.
Does the width change when I stack it on top? No. So what's the width?
5.
That continues to be the width. Okay? Now here's the first thing you do. Label your prisms. Okay? Go ahead. Then we'll do the volume of A, volume of B, and add them together. Okay? I'm going to pull a stick. So the volume of A, you ready? Tell me what multiplication sentence to write.
3 inches times 5 inches times 2 inches equals 30 inches.
Good. That was hard for me to remember what you said, but I did it. Okay. Get B written down in case I pull your stick, okay? So for me, tell me what to write for the volume of B.
6 inches
Good.
times 5 inches
Okay.
times 4 inches.
Good. Equals. This is 30, right? 30 times 4 for me.
120.
Good, 120 cubic inches. Now, what do I do?
Can you add the
Add, okay, so tell me what to add. Vaughn, tell me what to add.
30 inches and 120 inches.
Good, and make sure you get your cubed on there. You know what I almost did? I almost wrote a multiplication sign. So, Vaughn, my total volume of the entire figure,
Is 150 inches.
and I just wrote centimeters. $150 inches cubed. Okay, fist to 5 on this. How we doing? Okay? All right. Now, the missing measurements will get easier for you. Let's take a look at the next one. This time they gave us none of them. The top box has nothing written down, but we can figure it out. So this is A, this is B. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is write volume of A. I'm going to write volume of B, and I'm going to go ahead and write that one down because it has everything it needs. It has the length, it has the width, it has the height. I'm not going to solve it yet. But I know those measurements, right? Do you want to go ahead and solve it?
Can we solve it on our own?
Yeah. So what'd you get, George A? For the volume of B?
24.
24 cubic meters. Okay, put your pencils down. Let's take a look at A. So here's what I have to figure out. I have to figure out the length. I have to figure out the width. And I have to figure out the height. Now, some of these I can just copy. For instance, I can copy my width like I did before, can't I? So this will be what?
2.
2. Okay, write that on yours. Some of them I'm going to have to subtract to figure out my answer. So, Emily, can you figure out the length or the height for me?
2 minus 4.
You're kind of close. 4 minus 2 would give me the height. How do I know this is 2? Because I know this is 2, right? So this is 2 meters. Okay, and pull another stick. Cheney, how can I figure out the length?
You can subtract. Oh, well, it's a cube. So you
It's a
could do-
cube.
so
You don't
could
know
do
for
6.
sure though.
You could do 6 minus 4.
Good. 6 minus 4 equals 2. It looks like a cube. Now I know it's a cube, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can do the volume of A. I think I'm starting to memorize that 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Anybody else starting to memorize that?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I figure out the total volume, Chloe?
So to figure out the total volume, the 2 answers.
Okay, so tell me what to do.
So 24 meters or 8 meters, but at
Good.
plus 24 meters equals. And then
Good. Very good. Okay, you guys agree?
yes, sir.
So if you don't have a 5 when I ask you fist to 5, I want to know why. So give me fist to 5. Jair, tell me why it's not a 5.
Because I don't really get like what we have to subtract.
Okay, so we'll work more on that tomorrow with the problem set. But what they'll do is they give you this whole length here, and they give you part of the length, and so you know your missing part is 6 minus 4. Okay? On the width, it's the same width, I can tell because the back side matches up. And this 4 meters for all of it, I used 2 over here, so 4 minus 2 gives me 2 there. Okay, let's keep going. But we'll practice that more tomorrow. This one's really kind of fun. Okay, 2 rectangular prisms have a combined volume of 135 cubic meters. Prism A has double the volume of Prism B. What is the volume of each prism? Now, I'm not even going to read B yet, so don't plan on using this 10 square meters until we get to this question. The first question says, 2 rectangular prisms have a combined volume of 135 cubic meters. Prism A is double the volume of Prism B. What is the volume of each prism? So I'm going to draw a tape diagram for A. And I'm going to use a strategy to draw the tape diagram for B. Abdiel, how long do you think I should make B's?
Like, you can make it like longer than A, and then you can put dotted lines with it.
You're on the right track. We are going to use a dotted line. But I'm not making B longer than A because Prism A is double
Shorter.
the volume. So shorter. Okay, so I'm going to split this one in half with a dotted line.
And then you have to line it up.
And then I'm going to line up B the best I can with my crooked dotted line. Look at that.
Oh.
Okay. And the total volume is 135 cubic meters. Okay. So we have to figure out the volume of each. Have we been given the total volume?
Yes.
And I gave you a hint about this. I said, if you're given the total volume, you're probably going to need to do the opposite of multiplication.
Divide.
Divide. So that's what we know right now. We know that we are going to use 135 meters cubed. We're going to divide. Talk with your table group about what the division problem is. And don't say it too loud. All right, table 1.
They're two. They're one. The floor's one.
No, that you guys are 1.
What?
Don't argue with me. I must have told you wrong. This is table 1. Okay, so we've got a lot of ideas. Some of you said divided by 2. Some of you said divided by 5. I'm trying to figure out where the 5 came from.
Half
Maybe
of
half
the
of
thing.
10.
Half of 10?
Yeah.
But I said don't look at the 10 yet.
Yeah.
Well, I know what the 135 and divided by 5, and it'll make maybe 106 or 60.
Okay, table
Maybe
2. What do you think?
135 meters. Cube times 3
You're close. We're dividing.
divided. Oh, divided. Sorry.
Okay, so 135 divided by 3. Now, where did I get my 3?
From the that 3.
This,
Oh.
and that.
Oh.
It's so easy, it's hard.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
It's so easy, but it's difficult to think like this. So, now what I want to do is I want to see how many of you can remember how to divide.
I can.
Okay, so shh,
I divide.
I'm going to help you a little bit. That's where I would chunk it. And you don't have to skip count, but if you do skip count, this is what it would look like. Let's see if you can remember how to divide. If you skip count, make sure you don't skip 9. Right? Okay, so here's how I'm thinking. 3 times 4 equals 12. So I would have circled this if I used the skip count method, okay? Is 1 less than my divisor?
Yes.
So bring down my 5. And good. So now we know what goes in each box.
45.
45. We still need to do a little more math to figure out the volume of A. Add. So 45 plus 45?
90.
90.
90.
Okay, so just answer it here. Volume of A equals 90 meters cubed. Volume of B equals 45 meters cubed. Now that's the easy part, believe it or not.
Huh?
Yeah, so this says if one face of Prism A has an area of 10 square meters, what is its height? Now, I'm going to go back a few pages because I want to remind you what we started out with. We were doing these problems. If I know volume, I'm going to divide, correct?
Yes.
What is one face has a volume or an area of 10 square meters? What does that mean? One
the area
face.
of one size.
Okay, so
One layer.
I'm just going to say right here. So let's say this right here, it has the area of 10 square meters. Okay? Now on this problem, what was the area of it?
20.
20 square inches, correct? Okay, so let me go back to this page that we're on now. Let's draw a prism. That's going to help. So just make a rectangle, turn it into a prism. Are you getting pretty good at this by now?
No.
You will. And we don't know the height, so the question mark is right beside the height. You want me to show you a trick? Okay. So instead of doing it with one rectangle, you could do it with two overlapping rectangles.
That's what I used to do.
Okay, so draw two rectangles the same size and overlap their corners like this. Trust me.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do.
Then connect, and you've got a,
Yeah, I thought it was
looks like
the
a
wrong
fish
way.
tank, doesn't it? Okay, so I don't know the height, but I know that the face right here is 10 square meters. Do I know the volume?
Oh no. Wait,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Yeah.
20. Oh,
Prism A, what's the volume of Prism A?
oh, 90, 90.
90. Okay, so I'm going to take 90 meters cubed. And if I know volume, what am I going to do? Multiply or divide? Divide. Divide. Divide it by 10 meters squared. And it equals 9 meters. So the height is 9 meters. Remember your labels 3, 2, 1? Like we did before? Okay? All right. They wrote it another way in my teacher book, so I want to show you. If I know the volume is 90, I could do something times 10 to figure out my answer. So if division isn't easy for you, could you go ahead and use multiplication? You sure could. Okay, this next one. There's a chance we're not going to get it done. But let's get it started. Okay, it says a storage company advertises 3 different choices for all your storage needs. The cube is a true cube with a volume of 64 meters cubed. Now, you know what a storage unit is? They're like all lined up in a building and they have garage doors and you put all the stuff in them that won't fit in your house or your garage. Okay, so there's one that's 64 meters. That's called the cube. So write down cube. And then we're going to figure out the dimensions here in a minute. So 64 cubic meters. Okay. So the next one is called the double. And it's double the volume of the cube. So I'm just going to put that. Okay? And the last one's called the half. It's half the volume of the cube. Okay? So let's start out by, it says, what could be the dimensions of the 3 storage units? So I'm going to go ahead and get my blanks on here. So I'll know that I've got to come up with all my measurements. And then I'm going to teach you a problem-solving strategy we haven't really used this year. It's called guess and check. Now, if it's a cube, all the measurements have to be the same what? Length. So it has to be the same number, and it has to be on there 3 times. Stop looking at the clock. We're not going to stop for recess until we finish this first line. Okay? And I know we can do it in 2 minutes. So here's my guess and check strategy. Are you ready for it? If I put a 1 on all of those, my volume would be 1, right?
Yeah.
If I put a 2 here, it would be 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So it's not a 2 and it's not a 1. Keep going with that strategy until you find the number. Go over somewhere on your paper and write down 3 times 3 times 3. Don't tell me answers. Everyone needs a chance to do this. And if that doesn't work, write down 4 times 4 times 4. And if that doesn't work, keep going until you find one that equals 64. And once you stop writing, I'll know you found it. Thank you for writing those down like I asked. I appreciate it. Okay, I would start figuring these out. What's 4 times 4? Okay, my pull stick. Beverly, did you figure it out? Did you type 3 times 3 times 3? That's 27. Because 3 times 3 is 9, right? And 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, do the same thing with the 4s. Jair, did you figure it out?
No.
Okay, keep going. Keep working. Do the same thing I just did on the 3s with the 4s and see if it's a 4. Cadence! Did you figure it out? What goes on the blank?
4.
4.
What?
4 times 4 times 4. Watch this. So this is 16, right?
16 times 4.
Check to see if 16 times 4 is 64.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I thought that was a 6.
Okay.